Have you ever felt like there's some invisible force that's holding you back with money? Something that no budget, no spreadsheet, no shiny new app can seem to fix. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that exact feeling. We're going to explore what's really going on beneath the surface of our financial lives.
So meet Brianna Bell. She's a writer who was literally celebrated in public as a tiger mom of personal finance. To the world, she was the expert. She was the one who had it all figured out. But behind those headlines, a completely different story was unfolding. One of mounting debt and, just that crushing anxiety that comes with it. And that's the real question here, isn't it? If someone who knows all the rules of the game can't win, well, maybe the game isn't what we thought it was. Maybe the problem isn't about knowing more about money at all, but something much, much deeper.
All right, so our first step has to be to give this invisible problem a name, because you can't really start to solve something until you can actually look it in the eye and diagnose it properly.
It's called financial trauma, and I want you to pay close attention to the definition here. This isn't just psychological. It's not just in your head. The key word here is physiological. It is a full-body experience. It's a response to stress that literally gets hardwired into your nervous system.
Now, financial trauma isn't always from one single dramatic event. We tend to think of these big T traumas, right? A huge life-altering thing like a bankruptcy or a business completely failing. But what can be just as powerful, if not more so, are the little T traumas. Think of it like a constant drip. The stress of childhood poverty, hearing your parents fight about bills every single night, or just that quiet shame of not having enough. These smaller, chronic things can add up and be just as damaging.
So that raises a huge question. How does this whole response system get programmed into us in the first place? Where do we learn to react to money in these ways?
And the answer, as it so often does, starts way back in our childhood. The financial world we grow up in leaves an echo, one that can last an entire lifetime.
The groundbreaking Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, or ACEs study, it really shows just how widespread these issues are. I mean, look at these numbers. We're not talking about rare events here. A quarter of people experienced emotional abuse. Over a quarter grew up with substance abuse in the house. This stuff is woven into the fabric of our society.
And here's where the connection becomes crystal clear. A study by Harder and Harder found that for every single one of those adverse childhood experiences a person has, their likelihood of facing financial stress as an adult goes up by about 4%. It's a direct, measurable link between the pain of the past and the pressures of today.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. The impact isn't just in your mind. This trauma literally gets written into our nervous system. It actually changes how our body physically responds to the world. Which brings us to the biology of our decisions, and the secret role your nervous system is playing every single time you even think about money.
So polyvagal theory shows us that our nervous system basically has 3 modes. The ideal state is called ventral vagal. That's when you feel safe, connected, and look at this, your functional IQ is high. You can think clearly and make smart decisions. But when a financial trigger hits, like an unexpected bill, your body can jump into the sympathetic state. That's your classic fight or flight. Your IQ actually drops, you feel anxious, and you might make really impulsive decisions. And if that threat feels totally overwhelming, you can fall into what's called dorsal vagal. That's a total shutdown. You freeze, you feel helpless, and your ability to solve problems just plummets.
And this is that moment of recognition for so many of us. That feeling of just staring at a stack of bills and your brain just shuts off. That isn't a character flaw. It's not you being lazy or procrastinating. That is your nervous system, in that dorsal vagal state, trying to keep you safe from a threat it learned to fear a long, long time ago. So, if the problem isn't the budget, but our actual biology, what's the solution? This is where we shift. We're moving from just diagnosing the problem to exploring a really new and, honestly, hopeful path forward. This is where we can completely reframe our entire relationship with money, thanks to the author Ken Honda. He asks us this: what if money isn't the enemy? What if it's just a neutral energy, a tool? He says we're the ones who decide if it's a monster that haunts us or an angel that helps us heal. He even reframes something as stressful as debt. Instead of seeing it as this huge mark of failure, he suggests seeing it as evidence of trust. A bank, a person, a company, somebody trusted you enough to give you that money. Paying it back isn't a burden, it's an act of honoring that trust. It completely changes the energy around the whole thing.
And this leads us to the absolute core takeaway. Lasting change isn't about willpower or forcing yourself to stick to a budget. It's about somatic healing. It's about teaching your body, your nervous system, that it is safe now, even if it wasn't safe back then. When your body feels secure, your mind can finally follow.
And this isn't just a theory. There are practical tools being designed right now to create that exact feeling of safety. For example, programs like individual development accounts, IDAs, they actually match a person's savings to help them build assets faster. These kinds of tools provide a real-world foundation of security that lets the nervous system finally relax and regulate itself.
And the results of this approach, wow, they go so far beyond a bank account. Just take the story of James Flood. He went from being homeless and in prison to finding financial stability. And the result wasn't just that his rent was paid. It was his family's pride. It was his children calling him dad for the very first time. It was the return of his dignity. That's the real goal here.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. After everything we've looked at today, from finance gurus drowning in debt to the actual biology of our nervous system, just consider this. What if the most important financial work you could ever do has nothing to do with numbers and everything to do with helping your body finally, truly feel safe?
Links below. Don't miss out. Worth checking out. Don't forget to like, follow, drop a comment, and check the links below.